You want to build a SaaS or optimize your workflow? Well, you're at the right place, my friend. In today's episode, we'll go through the conceptualization, wow, that's a big word, and the ideation of a mini SaaS. Now, it's actually not a SaaS because I'm not going to try to sell it, but the ideas and the steps are what I would do if I wanted to make a SaaS product. And so you can learn a lot of things from this, both the workflow of how I'm doing it, and maybe something can inspire you, or maybe you don't even know how to start and you can see each step. So this is very important, so subscribe and let's get to it. I like simple tools. Simple tools get stuff done. And most tools are not simple. They are over-engineered and slow and bulky and annoying to use. So that's where we're gonna start. The problem we're gonna solve is my own. So my to-do list of the day is usually just a text file. Like I have just one text file where I'm like, what am I supposed to do today? And each of these things I can very easily move forwards, backwards to tomorrow, etc. and don't even think about it. And this is really nice and simple. It's just a text in Vim, if you know Vim. But the problem is that I can't share it between devices. So if I want to share it between devices, I'll need to use a complicated tools where I have to do many clicks to just add and remove, and it's usually very slow and bulky and annoying. I have to have a count, etc. Like, I don't want to do that. I just want to have a simple way to share my to-do list. So let's get to it. Let's build it. As I want to share my to-do list between different devices, there's many ways I can do that. Now, I can have a login system, I can have an app, I can have social login, etc. But all of that's going to distract me from the core issue. I want to make a simple and nice to-do list that we will start with, and then later we can
expand to making a global to-do list and take over the world.
And also make the world a better place, right? That's always the classical Silicon Valley. So what can we do? Well, we can scrap all of that. We can just say nothing. And so we just want to keep it simple. And how do we do this? Well, so to make something really fast, what we can do is reduce the spec to the just absolutely minimum that we need. And this is really hard and it takes a lot of experience, and I still overcomplicate things. But what we can do in this case is, hey, let's not have a login system. Because with a login system, we need sign up, we need reset password, we need to email, etc. And we can also just drop all of the fancy JavaScript libraries and just doing everything remotely based and using HTMX. Or server-side rendered, and using HTMX. And we can just use SQLite as a database. No need for fancy cloud infrastructure, just very, very simple SQLite. The downsides of not having a login system means that we can't collect emails to upsell people. And usually that's a really important thing. So most of the time you probably want a login system, but if you're just playing around with a lot of ideas, just scrap it. Because what happens if you have a login system? Well, now someone signs up. They might be a spammer, so you have to check that. Because if you don't check that, you'll start sending a lot of emails out. Now you have an email system, you need to connect Mailgun or something else, etc. Maybe you have to use Firebase to get social logins to work, because maybe that's very important for this app that you're building. And so you have a lot of things that you just suddenly start having to implement. Of course, you can say, hey, let's just use Firebase or something like that. But now you're relying on a company that basically removed their motto that was, don't be evil. So yeah, Google removed their motto and changed it to, well, be evil, I guess. So, and it's a distraction from just iterating over our ideas. So let's scrap all of that and not have a login system. So this is how I sketch web apps. So I tried all of the different kind of software, but the problem is, again, it's not simple, and you use a lot of time to get the basic things done. So I ended up with something called escalidraw.com, which is pretty good, but still a little bit annoying to use, but better than most of it. But again, the most important thing that I normally do, the simplest way is just to draw it on a piece of paper. So that's what I've done here. So you can take a look here. How have I done this? Well, you can see that we have margins to do, and then I have a hashtag in front. The hashtag is like a reminder that this should be a H1 because it's the same as Markdown, right? And then I have some input fields, and then I have T, which is just trash. And you can see there's like a double line, triple line underneath the T. That means that it's a bottom. So this way it's very easy for me to see, hey, this is a bottom, that's an input field, because else normally you can't see between that. Then you can see a new that have a one underline, that's a link. The design will not look like this here when we actually get to implement it, but this is just a general idea of how to do it. And then you can see a mandatory coffee spot. So that's the most important thing. So yeah, this is the base design that we're going to implement. A very important thing with this design is that you can see there's no way to make a new to-do list, or there's no way to like do anything with it. This is on purpose because I actually want the URL just to be how to share it. And when you go in there first time, it just starts making a new to-do. This way we can avoid all of the extra bottoms and features, and you just have like everything automatic. The simpler you can make something, the better. So maybe we'll make one that says new to-do, but in general we don't really need that for our first initial prototype. If you made it so far, you probably like this video. And if you want to know how to get your perfect domain, because a domain is really hard to get, especially a .com domain nowadays, almost everything is taken. But I have a method that I use to find really good names that stick. So consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.